Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology, a life after a cult, where you find me talking about all kinds of Scientology culty things. Today, we are talking about these LA fires. I've been checking in with my friends in Los Angeles, many people who you guys know in our community of exposing Scientology, whether you're live streaming or you're here on YouTube talking about it live streaming or doing it in person and protesting. Many people are out in the Los Angeles area. And earlier today on my live stream, we were talking about Tory 44, wondering how she was doing. I was able to get a hold of her and we were talking, and I thought, you know what, Tory, why don't you just tell everybody how you're doing? Let's talk. Let's get together and do a live about it. So Tory's going to be here with us. Thank you so much, moderators, for jumping in. I know it's last minute. I really appreciate you. Thank you, everybody in the live chat, for being here. And if you got a question as we go along, maybe put question in front of it. And we'll try and grab as many as we can. Hello to everybody coming in. Aloha. And thank you for always bringing the aloha, you guys. You guys rock that way. Without further ado, let's bring up the one, the only Tory 44. Ta-da!
In the morning, which is not my time.
I know. Normally. Hey, no one. I see you. I'm so glad that you're here.
I made it live.
I love that, though, because normally if you want to catch Tory, she is a late night gal, and you can catch her doing, you're doing midnight with Magoo, but you go a little earlier now, right?
I'm trying to go a little bit earlier because I end up staying up so late. If I do it like midnight to 1 or 2, and then I'm still up, and it's just too late. So I'm trying to edge it down where I start at like 11 till midnight, that kind of thing.
I don't blame you one bit. I am not a night person, definitely more mornings. Here is Tory's channel, Tory Magoo 44. Again, you can find her here on YouTube. Tory goes way back when it comes to protesting and exposing Scientology. For those of you not familiar with her or her story at all, you want to check it out. She's got a ton of content on her channel about Scientology. And
1,000 videos.
Whoa.
And I was not going to speak out. I was not. I called Stacy and said, I'm not speaking out. I'm not making videos. I'm not going to protest.
Yeah.
And I always tell everybody on my YouTube site, in LA, I was a Scientologist. By the time I got across the country to Tampa, Florida, I was an activist because of all the shit they did.
Absolutely.
They created me. I was not going to do anything.
No, they make their own enemies.
Yeah.
And Tory, you live in California, you live in Burbank, and kind of walk us through yesterday when you realized that, whoa, this is serious. What did things look like for you?
Well, I was watching, my lights were on. I was watching the news. It was showing mainly highlighting Pacific Palisades, which is out at the beach by Malibu, around Malibu, that area. And it was burning. I mean, it was awful. And I thought, wow, this is really bad. Not even thinking about the other area, which turned out, I'll tell you about it. But anyway, I'm watching it, and all of a sudden, boom, everything goes out. And one of my son's friends had called me and said, I'm trying to get through to your son, and I can't. And it's starting to burn here. And I'm like, really? This was like around Pasadena, which is all the way the other way from the beach.
Yeah.
And so I called him, and he said, yeah, it's severe. I sent you that. Well, the photos are on my Tory Magoo 44 or Tory Christman on Facebook. I posted his 4 photos that he took as he was evacuating. They ordered him to evacuate. And I said, just get out of there. Because just like Pasadena or the Palisades, a lot of people didn't. And then once you do, it's too late. It's like people had to literally get out of their cars and try to walk or run. And now the bulldozers are bulldozing the cars because they've got to get the fire departments in there. Yeah. It's a mess. It's all over LA. It's really, but anyway, for me, just to finish your question, I was really scared. It was like, I'm all alone, totally dark.
All the power went out. I mean, it was your whole, where you are,
everything
around you.
Everything. It just boom. The whole street was black. I opened the door, super windy, which was what caused all these fires. It was the wind. And the wind was like, I think, hurricane level. It was just unbelievable. And I was really afraid. I have a big tree out in front. And I was really afraid it was going to fall into my house. And it was just scary. The whole house was like rattling and stuff. And so I thought, I'm all alone. And I just thought, okay, I'll start a YouTube site. And that's what I did, which is on YouTube, Tory Magoo 44, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And I started a YouTube site, and a bunch of people from around the world literally came on, and I can't thank them enough because I was really scared, and it just helped so much. I don't think people understand how much we appreciate their support.
Yes.
And I mean this for you guys. You're the people supporting you too, because it really, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be sharing stuff if it wasn't for the people that are also interested in it and helping us expose the abuses of the Church of Scientology, which was my main goal. Once I realized I was an activist, then Bob Minton, who paid for my flight to get to Clearwater in 2000, said, look, we're protesting. And I said, I'm not protesting. I told you that. I'm not going to protest. So anyway, he took me up to New Hampshire, and then we drove back to Boston. And that's where he said, look, we're going to protest. And I said, I told you I'm not going to protest. You can just drop me off at the mall. And that week, though, I had talked to so many families who'd lost their children or their grandchildren. And I just thought, Tory, you're just being such a flake. You've got to do something. So I said, okay, I'm not going to protest, but I'm going to go in the org. So I went in the Boston org, and that was the beginning of the whole thing. Yeah. And it's called Magoo Dancing in Boston. Mark Bunker filmed the whole thing.
I remember that, and that's still on Mark Bunker's channel.
It's still on the internet. You can Google Magoo Dancing in Boston. It comes right up. But it's a good video because it shows me out handling the critics, because they used to send me out to try to handle them. So he shows a clip of that, and then it switches to me being out. And it's really, you really see how kind of brainwashed I was even then, because I'm like, look, Scientology believes in communication. What's wrong with you guys? Because they were just filming. They wouldn't talk to me.
Nope, not at all. Then you end up going and you're back in California, and you've been there, and you continue to speak out against Scientology. Right. And then kind of back to yesterday, you lose power. Right. And you're by yourself at the time. Everything is black. Power's out. Right. What do you do? What is the first thing you did?
Well, the first thing I did, my friend Drew called, who works for the gas company, and I protest with him a lot. He helps me, and he called and he said, "Look, you've got gas, so you'll have heat," because I have gas heat, and then he and I had charged up these batteries, and I can't thank the people who sent them to me, because it really helped. And I was able to stay on my cell phone because of those batteries. So that's a lesson for everyone. It's like, get backup batteries, whether you think you're going to be an emergency or not. I mean, so that was it. I got the batteries going. I was on the cell phone. I made 3 different live streams last night, because things would happen. Like someone came on and said the area where my son lived was evacuating. So I got off and called him and said, okay, get over here. Yeah. And he came over, and he was smart enough to bring everything, because he said, Mom, I live in a 100-year-old cement building. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But when you see there's photographs I put on my Facebook site, there's 4 photographs, and it's of the fires. And they were like really close to his house. And it turns out now, I mean, we both thought, okay, he'll spend the night, then he'll go back tomorrow. Yeah. Half the building is burned down, the back of the building.
So he evacuates with it. And again, you said this was in the middle of the night?
Well, it was 11 at night. So
yeah, for me, that's the middle of the night. For you, you're just getting started.
Kind of a night owl too, but yeah.
So I just can't even imagine, because again, of course, that being your son, and he evacuates, he gets out of there. I saw the photos on your Facebook page of the fire. And then, like you said, then half his building is burned down, and it's great that he is safe. And
I don't know if it's half, but it's the back of the building.
The back of it.
In case anybody from his building, call the owner, and check.
Yeah, that's scary. I'm so glad that you got your batteries, because those battery packs you had gotten, people had gifted them to you as part of your protesting Scientology. Because
I know.
live streaming, the phone battery dies and everybody needs a battery bank of some type, even if you're not protesting, right?
Right.
I feel like all of us have these, or you should have them, because
should.
they also come in very handy during an emergency. And you
Right.
were able to get those battery packs, keep your phone charged. And you would also just so happen you just bought some flashlights from Costco.
See?
There you go.
See? Somebody
Yeah.
sent me that. That's all charged up. And it's like Drew said it'll last you for a while.
And then you got to use it in this emergency.
Yeah.
So your son gets out of there. I saw, because I caught this morning on my recap, we shared a clip from your video and you were saying how scary this is.
It was
It's
so
so
scary.
dark and eerie. What did it look like outside?
It was just, everything was just blowing around. Like Spanky, she had a tarp over her car and it just blew off.
Mhm.
It's like a lot of things blew away.
Yeah.
In my house, it didn't, but I pretty much have things kind of hunkered down because
Mhm.
OSA will come around and do different things. So I try to keep it pretty secure.
Yeah.
And OSA is the Office of Special Affairs, which are the guys in Scientology that are PR and legal, but they really also do the dirty tricks. And so I have to make sure, I kind of keep that safe. And don't come over here, OSA. Believe me, don't come over here.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm so glad that your son is there with you. That made me really happy. Were you able to sleep last night?
Oh yeah, I can always sleep. I mean, I'm just like, I've slept through, like in Girl Scouts, we did a canoeing trip down the Mississippi River, and then we camped in a parking place. And I woke up in the morning and all the tents were tipped over and everybody was screaming. And I kind of leaned out. I was like, what's going on? And they're like, I can't believe you slept through this. All these boys came and slashed our tents. But I slept through the whole thing.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
yeah. So anyway, LA is definitely on fire and it's all over. And because of the winds, and they said on the news, the winds are going to get bad last night again, and then again today, later today. I'm hoping it just goes out to the desert. But I really, to anybody who's lost your home or your loved ones, I really send my love. It's like, it's a spooky time. You asked me before, have you ever lived through something like this? I hadn't personally, but Malibu burned down years ago. I don't know if you remember that, but we went out and drove around there afterwards, and it was all chimneys. That's all you could see. All these beautiful homes were just gone. They just were burned down.
Yeah.
So that's probably how Palisades will look.
Probably, and so many other areas. I mean, there's like 4 of these fires going. I want to grab a couple comments and questions here.
Okay.
Power Lies to Paralyze says, Tory is a national treasure, so nothing better happened to her.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been supportive, and you, Natalie, too. I really appreciate it. Thank you for calling me.
I feel the same way. You were right on my mind. And when I couldn't reach you at first, I was a little worried, but I'm like, no, I know that Tory is very capable and knows what's up. But I was really happy when we got to connect. And when I realized how much relief I felt when I heard your voice, I thought, you know what? Let's jump back on and do a live, because we talked about this morning, and so many people, care about what's happening to you specifically too. Christy Lynn says, praying for everyone in California.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we really need it, because we need the winds to go away. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The winds are the thing that keep the fires. They're all over LA. They have a map of them, and they're everywhere. I mean, it's really spooky.
That's something.
My son showed me a photograph of my block. Now, my block is fine. Burbank doesn't have a fire in it, at least yet. And I think I'm okay, because I'm like a couple blocks from Disney. And I'm pretty sure Disney is going to make sure it doesn't come any, close enough to them. But
you're ready. Tell us about how you're getting, making sure that you are prepared in case you do need to evacuate. Put our concerns at, put our minds at ease. We just want to know that, if something really does, if it does get closer to you, that you have a plan and you're ready to get out of there.
Well, I sort of have a plan. I don't have a plan on where I'm going, but I have a plan to get out of here. And I did this years ago with the earthquakes, and I bought a thing at Staples. It's like a plastic, or, it's just a case. It's like a case, but it has all my important documents in it, money, medicine, just everything that I would need. You have to kind of sit down. If you're anywhere near any of these fires, sit down and write out a little list of what in your day, because I woke up at 3 a.m. I went to sleep early. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I went, oh, that's right, I forgot to take my PM medicine. So I took it. But, that's something I thought, that needs to be on my list. Because if you make a list, then you just have to look at your list and go, okay, I got this, I got that, I got that, I got that. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't think I'm going to have to evacuate. I really don't. But neither did my son. And, thank goodness he brought everything, because he brought all of his office. He's written 2 or 3 books, and he brought all the thumbnail for those. He actually was far away, and he remembered, oh, wait a minute, the thumbnails are still in my apartment, where he lives. So he went back and got it. And now, because it's, we don't know how much is burned, he said, thank goodness I went back there.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. And he's safe now and with
He's
you.
safe now. He's safe. He's been, he slept here last night. He's safe here. I said, you can stay here as long as you need to. So we're good. And I don't think it's going to, I don't think the fires will get down in these neighborhoods. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm way in the flatlands. It's like the hills are that's where, he was kind of up in the hills above Pasadena. And that's where there's a big fire there. And that's why that happened.
Yeah.
But the hills and the mountains are where, like I remember a couple of years ago, Spanky was up in the hills and the fire came, right up to her backyard. It was really scary.
Wow.
I know.
Sharon says, good morning, Tory. Hello again, everyone. Aloha. No one says, love you, Tory.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, no one.
And Annette says, glad to see Tory. I've been worried since last night, and her stream just seemed to end.
What did it say?
It says your stream just seemed to end.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. It's just because I had to start worrying about my son. And it was just like, all right, that's it. I've got to get him here.
Yeah.
And make sure he's safe. And he is. He brought everything. It was really good.
Yeah.
So I've got enough stuff that if I had to, I'd be good. This problem for most people is where to go. Some people have places to go, but a lot of people don't. I was looking at it late last night, and there were people that were like, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah, exactly.
I have places that I could go, but, because so much of LA is burning, that's where it gets tricky.
Yep. Becky says, Tory, my house is available for you and your son.
Oh, okay. I don't know where you live. If you could send me a little PM just with your maybe phone number. So if I need to, I could call you. That would really be great.
Yep. Becky, you can reach her through Facebook or maybe jump in the comments or email, and then you guys can exchange phone numbers.
Yeah.
And if you have an issue with that, reach out to me and I'll make the connection too. Sometimes it's hard to track Miss Tory down.
I know, but who does all the time? Jessica's mother, Jessica Palmadessa, we've become friends, and she called me last night. She goes, are you okay? And I said, I'm okay, and I'm helping my son, so I can't talk. And I said, but I just heard somebody came on my chat and said Jessica was going out to the fires. And I said, they don't want her out there. And she said, no, she's not out there. They went out there early in the beginning, she and Will. And she said they were way out of it by the time she called me. So
they had turned around. Love Maddie says, my sister's house is in the hills of Ventura. We flew down there for my mom's 90th back in 2017, just in time for the Thomas fire. We evacuated 23 houses burned to the ground around it. Wow. There's such a history out there of this kind of thing happening. Tell me this, Tory, what do you think, having been a Scientologist and around Scientology, their response or attitude would be about this type of disaster?
Well, Scientology, as I've told people before, I lived in Clearwater for a couple of years, and they have hurricanes there. And whenever that would happen, and they hunker down, they like protect the windows and stuff like that. But always, if the hurricane goes by, their view is the OTs handled it.
Yeah.
If there's any bad, it's because the SPs hurt the area.
So it's the fault. If it goes bad, it's the suppressive people. But if it goes good, it's all Scientology.
Exactly. So, and they're always invincible, always.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even when people die, they're like, okay, they'll be back next lifetime. So they never even, for most people that die, they never even mention their names.
True.
You never know. I know hundreds of people that have died from Scientology. And if you're hearing this and you're in Scientology and you have cancer, please leave Scientology out the nearest door, go to a real doctor and get medical help, because what they're telling you is bullshit and it doesn't help. And, you just have to look around and think of all the people that are dead. That's proof. The natural way. I mean, Dr. Dank, who was L. Ron Hubbard's doctor, told me, because all these people were dying. And I went over there. I said, what the hell is going on? This was in, I think, the 90s, the early 90s. And he said, look, here's the deal. He said, come in my office. And he knew I was taking medicine for epilepsy. So I knew he's pro-medicine. But he said, I can't make someone take medicine. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, and these people, everyone who chose to do all natural, most of them went to Mexico and got intravenous feeding and shit like that. They're all dead. Everyone, including many of my good friends. Mm-hmm. And he said, some that did some medical, some natural, some lived, some died. Those are our statistics. That's it.
Yeah. It's amazing. And what you're saying too about how just you got to look outside of Scientology, and it's so hard to do when you're in it because of the amount of control. But their attitude, like you said, they are going to blame the suppressive people for when things don't go wrong. And then if they move the hurricane away from Clearwater and Flag, it's because of the operating thetans.
Right. They saved the day. It's like right now, we're the why, no question. Inside, it's like those people that were protesting Scientology, that's why all this is happening. And then people go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So it makes us, people, more fearful of us. I mean, it's amazing the power they give to SPs when you think about it.
I know, it really does. It's amazing.
We caused all these fires. We made all these giant winds. I mean, I was scared to death last night. I really was. I mean, all in the dark until I talked to Drew and he said, you've got heat, so you're okay on that. You've got the backup battery, which I'd forgotten about. I have a million candles because I'm a candle person. So I didn't light a bunch because someone on my chat said, don't light candles because it can cause fires. Mm-hmm. So I just lit 2 and kept those alive just so I had some brightness in my room. And I bought some little Costco, those fake candles, that you can just click. So I lit those up too. So that kind of lit up my room.
Fantastic.
I know.
I've used them myself during a power outage because sometimes during a power outage, I live in the Midwest where we do get a good amount of storms and winds, and you don't necessarily want to be lighting candles when, the wind could blow, even if you have your windows closed. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, we get tornadoes. Not so much where I live. I've never been in a tornado, but I love those little battery operated things. Kathy Scogan says, glad you're okay, Tory. Still haven't heard from my nephew. So I'm frazzled. Kathy, I hope that you hear from him. Philosophy says, Tory, you have and are an amazing woman. We love you so much.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you for helping me last night. She was there moderating last night, and a bunch of trolls came on, and she was just like, you're out.
No smashing. Dawn says, love your strength, Tory.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been protesting for 24 years now. A long time. I mean, I've been through waves and waves of, like people go, oh, the group is all broken up. It's ruined here in LA. And I'm like, you guys have lived through nothing. You've lived through 1 year. It hasn't broken up. We've been around for 24 years. There's just been literally, and that was just me in 2000, 24 years. There were people before me that protested before I left, so for years, so it's been going on for a long time. As long as Scientology is abusing people, someone will be there protesting them.
I agree.
And the good news is honestly, the truth is Scientology, you are shutting you down.
Yes.
We're just like kind of window dressing. That's the way I look at it at this point, because it's like, it's important window dressing because it does highlight it and people go, oh, wait a minute, let's look in that window. Oh, wow. Or, oh, wait, now here in LA, they have all the windows shut down. Well, now on L. Ron Hubbard Way, they've opened up some of the windows. So I posted those on.
I saw that. I saw that outside LA Org.
Yeah.
Jersey Jan says, Tory, so glad you made it. Your son made it to your house safely.
Me too. Thank you. Me too. Because it was really scary today. Last night we were like, come over. You're supposed to evacuate.
Yeah.
And we both believe, if the fire department says evacuate, go.
Yeah.
Because yes, there's the one guy that saved his house, but there's many, many, many who don't make it.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you would have evacuated, you'd be okay and you'd be alive.
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
Once it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah.
So we're both, like if the fire department says, get out of here, just do it.
Yeah. And you got your stuff and your meds and what you need, and you can just walk right out of there at any time and evacuate.
Yeah. I don't think I'll need to. I really don't. But
I'm just happy that you're ready, though. Like, I think it'll help those of us who, of course, care about you, calm down a bit and go, okay, she's ready. She's got what she needs. It's fine where you are now. You're safe. Pause for Andrea says, Natalie and Tory, two of my favorite ladies. Tory, I was relieved to see your stream, all three of them last night. I've been watching live aerial footage this morning. Devastating and apocalyptic.
I know. It is. It's apocalyptic. That's a perfect description. I love her nickname, Pause for Andrea.
I love it too. Silva Larson says, my nephew is a firefighter. He is in the middle of it. And he said it's horrible last we heard.
Yeah, it's the videos are just unbelievable. It's really frightening. And it's frightening because of the winds. Like I said, if the winds weren't as bad as they are, the firefighters could get on top of it. But when the winds are blowing like that, it's just, all I can say is be ready, and everyone be ready. I have a very dear friend who won't do this, and she lives close to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've told her for years, because more for our earthquakes, but it's like, get your most important vital documents together in one thing so that it's all there. You can grab it, you can go. You know what I mean? And make a little list of what would I need if I had to stay away for a week? You know what I mean? Like what vital things do I need?
Yeah, very smart. I'm glad you're doing it. Asen says, when I grow up, I want to be as cool as Tory. YRB says, good to see you. When there's a calm moment, go out and get a little bit of sunshine. It will help with the mood.
It's all soot out there. I won't be getting sunshine right now, but thank you, YRB. Right. For us, like my roommate said, that he was outside last night over by the 405, and he said, I'm just inhaling smoke.
Yeah.
And I said, you might be getting the smoke from both fires, because he was kind of in the middle of it all.
Yeah. This is Kelsey, my Kelsey. She says, I have a ton of LED lights. I actually love the vibe when the power is out. Feels very Game of Thronesy.
I know. There is kind of a nifty thing to it once the wind's been calmed down. But when it was as windy as it was, I was just so afraid that either the roof was going to blow off my house, which isn't impossible, or that tree was going to crash into my house. Absolutely. Or something else. It's like I told my friend, it's like you can't plan this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can think what you've got, but it's like all kinds of weird things can happen. This one girl that called me to call my son.
Yeah.
She was going to come here and evacuate, and it turned out her house is gone. It's like, it's awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, enjoy your life, stay safe, but everyone should have that kind of thing where they have their top documents in a file that you can just grab and go with.
And you can be ready to evacuate. Lupita says Tory spreads wisdom, joy, and happiness. And Becky is in Inglewood, I believe, and says, I have lots of battery candles. Make sure you have backup batteries. Very true.
Backup batteries and candles.
And
Yeah.
candles.
And water.
And water, absolutely, and food. Marilyn Honig from Coffee Cult and Craft says, you're amazing, Tory.
I know. Thank goodness Drew and I were talking, and because he works for the gas company, he gave me some tips, and he said, don't open your refrigerator. And I would have never thought of that. And he said, because if you leave it shut, it'll stay cold and everything will be okay.
Yeah, for a while.
And it was. I woke up at 3 a.m. and all the lights were on, the whole block, all the Christmas lights were on. It's really funny.
Well, Tory, you got to keep us posted. We'll be in touch. I know you and I will be in touch. We're going to be thinking of you. We're glad you and your son are safe. This is in many ways just beginning. It's going to be ongoing.
I know.
Throughout the day. And, with these winds, they're talking even potentially into Friday. And then the cleanup begins, all of that. So this is something that is just devastating California and that area. And I think all of us are all over the country and out of the country, just thinking of all of you and sending good wishes and prayers for everybody involved, especially the firefighters.
Yeah,
who are out there
firefighters
doing this work, the firefighters, the volunteers, the paramedics, law enforcement, everybody who's out there working to really fight something that's almost impossible at this point, but they're still showing up.
I know. It's so great. It's so great.
Absolutely. Well, you stay safe, Tory. Jackson, if you're here, I am going to send you a link and then we will jump on. I'm going to be jumping back on here in just a few moments, you guys, on another live stream with Gary Jackson Moorhead, he's a former Scientologist. He's a former Sea Org member, but he has intimate knowledge of the protocol of what Scientology is doing right now, or should be doing, or would be doing in Hemet at the international base, also in Los Angeles. So Gary, if you're still there, I'm going to send you the link and we will go live in just a few minutes. In the meantime, everybody stay safe, especially you, Tory.
I will.
Yeah, have a great cult-free time over there. I will talk to you soon, Tory.
Thank you for caring.
Absolutely. We love you. And everybody stay tuned. I'm going to jump back on with Jackson and fill in what is Scientology thinking, because they are affected by this as well.
All right.
I will be right back, y'all.
Okay. Bye.